friends, and welcome back to the Midlife Edit. So, there's this question that tends to show up quietly in midlife, and it's not dramatic or all at once, but it lingers, right? And the question is, what do I want? We talked about that, we've talked about that for the last few episodes. But after long seasons of giving and surviving and showing up for everybody else, that question can feel unfamiliar and honestly a little uncomfortable. Just today, I listened to an episode from today's guest called Permission to Dream Again, and it really resonated because dreaming isn't something we lose interest in. We might think about it as a childish thing, but it's something that many of us stop trusting after a hard season or trying to figure out who we are. So today's conversation is really about reclaiming yourself and finding your voice, and not just in theory, but in daily life, and what it actually looks like to come home to yourself in the middle of responsibilities, routines, and real life. I'm joined today by Karen and Tara, who are the voices behind Your Odyssey, which is a soulful space for women who are ready to reconnect with themselves, their truth, and their desires. We talk about dreaming again, nervous system regulations, voice, rest, and because both of our podcasts are rooted in music, we're also letting songs guide part of the conversation. So check it out. My conversation with the ladies from Your Odyssey, Karen and Tara. Karen, Tara, welcome to the Midlife Edit.
Hey, Jen. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Jen,
I'm
thanks
so
for
excited for this
welcoming us,
conversation today.
Mhm.
But before we dive in, I would love for you both to introduce yourselves, but in your own words. So, Karen, if you want to start first and let us know who you are and what you're doing.
Okay, I sure will. Well, my name is Karen Novy. I am a vocal empowerment coach, transformation coach, and I am co-founder of a business called Your Odyssey with this lovely woman right here, Tara. And yeah, she and I are in the business of sharing love and light and spreading all kinds of beautiful content and messaging out into the world, targeted for all humans, but especially supporting women in their own personal journeys and transformations.
Awesome.
And I am Tara Alexandra. As Karen said, we are co-founders of Your Odyssey. I'm also a transformation coach. Pause on coaching right now as I finish up schooling and some other credentialing things that I wanted to get done before I jump back into the coaching world. Let's see, I am a wife, mom, sister, daughter. So I feel extremely proud and grateful to be on a journey where I can share some of the things that I've learned along the way with other women as they are navigating different transitions in their lives, especially midlife, y'all.
Especially midlife.
Yeah, that's
You
a good
know,
one.
I started this podcast because midlife, when I was younger, was always this like, oh my gosh, you're over the hill. It's over. Like, you don't get a say anymore. Like, one foot in the grave, lock it in. And then the way I felt was not that at all. Like, I felt like, okay, you can become whoever you want to now, and it's not too late. And this own kind of transformation in my head was not matching up for what society was telling me. So I was like, you know what? Then I'm going to tell society what I'm doing.
Society can get on board with me.
Exactly.
I can't tell you how many times in the last 5 years I've said, I am just getting started. Like, no joke. I don't know what was happening that first half. I was kind of asleep a little bit, but I'm literally just getting started. So here we go.
Excited.
Yeah.
Well, this is a perfect segue into the episode that I listened to actually this morning of your podcast, was the Permission to Dream Again. And oh my gosh, the word dream is so juvenile to some people. Like, you talk about these big dreams. Honestly, my dream growing up, I wanted to be Jem. Like, Jem in the holograms, Jem.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Get it, rock star.
Yeah,
I can't
you did.
sing to save my life, but that's what I wanted to be. But you think about dreams, and a lot of times, especially for women, I feel like we kind of get pushed aside, or like, oh, that's a far-fetched dream. Like, you need to do X, Y, and Z first. But now, again, we are in, honestly, the prime of our life and wanting to do all these things. So you talk about, after hard seasons, it can feel safer to kind of shrink, right? And kind of check out almost. Why does it feel so risky for women, especially in midlife, to dream?
Tara, you want to hop on in here? Because I know you have thoughts. I have lots of them, but I have a feeling that you have some real good thoughts here.
Risky to dream because we have been conditioned, especially culturally here, that, you know, we have to give, we have to be, we have to do all the things, we have to check all the boxes. Like, we have to work our full-time job, be a full-time mom, be a full-time friend, partner, spouse, whatever that is, like, do all of those things and do it well. And then you add in the layer of social media onto that, and you see these picture perfect highlight reels of people living lives when it doesn't also balance out with the nitty gritty of real life, because real life be lifing. And
a little bit messy.
Yeah, a lot messy. But we hold ourselves to these impossible standards, you know, because of culture, because of what we assume everyone else is doing. And then, like, we put ourselves on the back burner, not intentionally. Like, it just happens as we give and do and be to everyone else, that somewhere along the way. And I feel like in midlife, that's when we wake up to like, oh, wait a minute, like, my kids are a little bit older, maybe, or, you know, this career path I'm transitioning to and you realize, like, I've given so much of myself to everyone else that I forgot what it was like to want what I want. And for me, I know, like, someone asked me a question. So, like, last year and the year before, I started building out my personal team. Like, I have my therapist, my coach, like, all of these people to help pour back into me. And, like, they asked, like, what do you want? And I'm like, that's what I'm here for. Like, tell me, what do I want? And, like, I forgot because, like, I had given, like, so much of my identity away, and it wasn't even intentional. And not, like, saying that any of these things were bad things. Like, I am genuinely glad that I'm a mother. I'm glad that I'm a wife. But somewhere along the way, like, Tara got forgotten.
Yeah, and I do think it's cultural conditioning for sure, you know, and it's also, I mean, you know, it's far back, it's ancestral, like, you know, for us to sort of be the nurturer, and we over deliver, we over give. And part of that is because I think every human being has that little piece inside them that says, am I worthy to be loved? Am I good enough? You know, and that sort of informs all of the ways that we become performative, and that we sort of look outside for our own, you know, worth. And we just start giving until there ain't nothing else left to give.
Yeah.
So the wake up in midlife is a beautiful, beautiful moment.
It truly is. But, however, I will say this, because this is my next question for you too. Internally, it can be a really great wake up. Externally, it's almost like we're afraid still, right? Because we have been conditioned to be that person. And what if I do set that boundary? And what if I do say no to that thing that somebody expects me to say yes to? So how do we start rebuilding trust as women with our desires and being able to say yes to us, and not necessarily no to other people, but yes to us, because we didn't say yes to us for so many years because of whatever it was, whether you were a mother or you were in school. We're conditioned to take care of other people. So how do we start saying yes to us?
For me,
it's externally doesn't.
Yeah, for me, all of it is an inside job, right? So, you know, getting into stillness, even if it's uncomfortable, developing some kind of stillness or meditative practice has been huge for me. Returning to love over and over again, self-love, just saying, you know, I love you. You're doing a good job. You deserve everything you desire. You don't even have to work for any of it. You are unconditionally loved. All of those things, sort of rewiring the messaging and the brain, and starting really at that deep internal ground level to know that you are allowed to be all of who you are. You are allowed to express all of the things, the boundaries and the joys and the desires. And that permission only comes from within us.
Yeah.
You really have to lean into love over the fear of, who am I going to upset? Who am I going to lose? How am I not going to meet their needs? You really have to go inside.
Yeah, and I think practically speaking too, it's like small things. Like you don't just all of a sudden become this newest, truest version of yourself overnight. Like trusting yourself with the small decisions, trusting yourself like I want this. As simple as that. And rather than letting someone else, society, whoever dictate what it is that you want, how you should be, how you should feel, it's like, do I want this? And if the answer is yes, moving from there, or no, I don't want that. And like Karen said, the boundaries, like standing firm in what you do or do not want and being okay with disappointing people. It reminded me of this quote that was like, you're going to disappoint somebody. At the end of the day, don't disappoint yourself.
Yep.
Like somebody's going to be disappointed. Okay.
And I'm just going to give a shout out to your "What Do I Want" quiz, because
Yes.
like, where am I at? Because I was like, I texted Tara. I'm like, the quiz. Yeah.
Honestly, though, I mean, do we really know how to find what we want if we haven't been asking ourselves that for so many years, you know? So like I think that's that thing in the back of your head that you do know,
Yes.
but you're afraid to say it. Karen, you said sit in the uncomfortable silence. That is something personally that I've had to along with my therapist have had to try to figure out, you know, because sitting in the uncomfortable silence, my head is going, okay, well, you have to go get dog food, and then you have to make sure that this report's done and this person needs here, and that I can't shut it off. And so when I've started to slowly train to shut it off, it's scary as hell, you know, because you don't know yourself really.
Right.
And I think that that's what you realize when that question comes up, what do I want? Do I really know who I am?
Yeah. I think,
it's scary.
I do agree that it can be scary. I don't think it has to be scary. I think if you can if one can tap into that, and I'm not saying it's easy, as Tara said, it's in the small choices, right? But if you can stop for a moment in the middle of your day when you're starting to feel disconnected and put a hand on your heart and just breathe for a minute and just feel into, they just asked me if I could blah, blah, blah. And you're like, and that does not feel good in my body. And so I'm going to say no. Like, it's the little moments of pausing and connecting just inside to your heart, to your truth, asking yourself internally or out loud. Tara, we know about saying it out loud, saying out loud, how does that feel? How does that feel to me in this moment? Do I have the time? Do I have the bandwidth? Do I choose to prioritize that thing over my own health or well-being or exercise or meditation or reading, whatever it is, the things, or a hike? No, that doesn't feel good. That's a no. If it's not a resounding yes, Tara and I have said this a lot. Oh, it's a no, baby. Capital N, no, thank you very much.
And Jen, something you just said about like remembering and sitting when you're uncomfortable in that, the stillness, the quiet or whatever. It reminded me like, we're not asking in midlife to become these brand new persons. It really is about remembering who you are. And it's like tied perfectly into our tagline, come home to yourself. We're not talking about come home to yourself like extreme makeover home edition. It is not that at all. Like we get take it down to the studs and start over.
No.
That's not the version that we're talking about. We're just it's a reminder of remembering to like take some of that pressure off of yourself and proving who you are or proving what you are worth, proving, that you are enough. Like take some of that pressure off of yourself and just be. We are human beings, not human doings, but we get so caught up in the frenetic, I have to do this, I have to check this off the list. And it's like you sit there, like I check this off the list, and then somewhere along the way, your brain is like, well, on to the next thing. Like we don't even get to enjoy or celebrate the thing that we've accomplished or the task that is completed because we're already moving on to the next thing.
And at the end of the day, you, I, Tara, we're all, everyone that's listening, one in about 8 billion, like really an anomaly and an amazing miracle that we're even here in this body. That is not a mistake. You are, by the very essence of being here, worthy to be here. And you are worthy of your own love and unconditional love. You are worthy of joy and gratitude and all of the good things. So your heart knows, your heart remembers.
Yeah.
Before the world got in the way.
Yeah. Life, right? You said though, start with one small thing, right? Just one little small thing. So, from your experience with your work that you've done with clients or without clients or just with each other or with yourselves, what is something when a woman starts like reclaiming herself? What's usually the first thing that kind of shifts in her daily life, even if nothing externally changes yet? So, like, maybe I'm like, okay, I talked to Karen and Tara today and they said to do this, so I'm doing this, but it's only up here. I'm not saying it out loud to my husband or my kids or anybody around me. So what's usually the first thing that kind of shifts?
I advise people to watch their inner self-talk. Just notice it, to just notice it. Be like, damn, that was harsh, girl. What do you like, to just notice, to just pause and notice throughout your day how you're speaking to yourself, how you're speaking about yourself. I think that's a really powerful way to understand that. Like, if you spoke to your bestie that way, she would be like, hell
We're
no.
not besties.
We're
We
not.
are not besties
I do not like you anymore. So just noticing, I think, self-awareness. And also, one of my mentors says, like, relax, nothing is under control. Like, literally, there's anything you want, and there's a lot of randomness that happens. You have to be okay in the uncertainty of how am I growing through this? Who am I remembering? And I just think the self-talk is a really nice clue.
Yes,
Tara, do you have?
agreed.
Yeah.
No, I would like totally agree because in that self-talk, in that awareness of how you're speaking to yourself, like that does take some of the pressure off and it allows you to be more gentle with yourself. And since it is starting inside, it's like no external person or whatever is going to notice it before you do. When you start realizing that you've made those shifts internally, like it's going to naturally overflow into all of the other areas of your life.
Yeah. I don't know if it was my last episode or the episode before, but I kind of alluded to that too. Like, if I had to take everything, like my entire body, and switch lives with somebody that I loved, how would they feel? The way I spoke to myself, the way I moved my body, like all of the different things. Would I be okay with switching bodies with my son right now and having him in my head about myself?
I did listen to that episode and I was like, that's very Freaky Friday of you. And also like like it is a different awareness. Like once you think through that, like would you want someone you care about, someone you love to live in your thoughts, in how you treat yourself every day and how you show up physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that. Like, would you be okay handing that over to someone else as is? And if not, that's when you realize, and midlife for me especially is when I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Tara, get back in here. Like, get back in your life. Like, come back.
Yeah.
Come over here.
Yeah.
Come get over here.
I love that. And you're giving yourself permission. I mean, I think that's a key word for me is permission. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't need permission from anybody else to be who I am. I just have to be okay with that. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one laying my head down and my thoughts at 3 a.m. when perimenopause wakes me up with a hot flash, those are my thoughts,
Yeah. And to be fair, right, the challenges of perimenopause, and this stage of life can be, I mean, it's really real, not sleeping well, hormonal shifts, all of it contributes to how we sort of show up the next day and the next day, the next day. So I just want to make sure that that's clear, that I'm not like, we're not dismissing or bypassing like the very real aspects of your life, especially physically, but being able to notice and put yourself first in terms of self-care. And if that includes, seeing a specialist about perimenopause, then absolutely
you do that. Yeah.
do that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love the segues here because I'm ready for this next one. Not sleeping, right? So you get up in the morning. For me personally, sometimes my fuse is a little short. Like if I don't get enough sleep, like I know, okay, I might be on edge. So my attention span is not there to do huge long meditations or anything like this. But if you go to your Instagram and go to your link tree, you have this sign up for, I like to call them little freebies, called Take 5 to Thrive. And I love it because it's quick. And my favorite one, because I love music, is Shake It Out. And my son's 20 now, but when he was little, when he used to get angry, I'd be like, all right, stop, 5-second dance party. And I was doing it for him. And then when I read that, like, it kind of brought me back to that. And I was like, I've been practicing this with a child, but not with my own self. So can you kind of touch on that part of it, the 5 to Thrive, and why you created it and who you created it for, and how to do it?
I want to point out too that your inner child, Jen, she's still wanting to dance. So like get moving every morning. I don't care how you're feeling when you wake up first. Just turn something on and move your body. Movement is so important.
It is. It is.
Tara, do you want to speak?
I was going to say, we were chatting a little bit before this episode, like Take 5 to Thrive. Like, we wanted it to be quick and simple, not something where you have to sit down where you're devoting an hour of your life to a reset or whatever, because honestly, a lot of time we don't have that kind of time in between. But that Take 5 to Thrive is part of that simple, small practice. Like, if I can do this for 5 minutes, I'm reminded of an episode of Kimmy Schmidt. You can do anything for 5 minutes. Like, we're just going to keep doing anything for 5 minutes. And once you build that habit, like, it gets easier to dedicate 10 minutes back to yourself, dedicate 15 minutes back to yourself. But we wanted it to be not unattainable, but really achievable in just give yourself 5 minutes. That's it. You know, focus on your breathing, move your body, put on your favorite Motown jam, whatever it is, and just like really be present in your body in the moment, be it returning to your breath, be it shaking it out, writing down a couple of things that you're grateful for in this moment, because you're not looking ahead. You're not looking behind you. You're like, right now, this is enough.
Yeah. To get present, especially in your body, like whether you're connecting to your breath or you're connecting through music and dance movement, that is a surefire way to get really grounded and to raise your energy and to raise your vibration, right? Like your literal, energy vibration that we're all emitting at every time. So if we could notice those in those little moments, just taking 5, just 5, it's not too crazy. Just everybody just take 5 minutes and take care of yourself in some way. Then all of a sudden, as Tara was saying, you start to build that muscle and you start to build that noticing, you start to build that awareness, and you start to notice when you feel out of alignment, so that you can just use one of those or several of those tools to just move back in to like, okay, am I taking care of myself? Am I noticing how I feel? Am I connected to my body?
I love it. While you were talking in my head, I always have multiple conversations with myself in my head. But I think of how much ridiculous time I spend on my phone scrolling. And before you know it, it's not 5 minutes, it's 30 minutes that have gone by. And if I just take 5 out of that 30 and do this, right? How much better would I feel? But after I'm done scrolling, now I'm automatically, my head goes to comparing myself to everybody that I just saw. And I'm not doing enough, and I'm not successful enough, and this didn't go right, but so putting on a favorite song, I mean, and music, which we'll get into in a little bit. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Music is life.
My entire life. It really is.
Yeah.
Music is life.
I get it.
So out of this 5 to Thrive, from any feedback that you've gotten, what do you think out of all of them is a practice that women resist the most?
I mean, honestly, it just really depends. Everybody's got their own thing they're resisting, boy, I don't know.
I don't even know if it's any one, but actually giving yourself permission to take 5.
Yeah.
Like
the big picture.
To swap out either the scrolling or giving or being or whatever it is for everyone else, like actually giving yourself permission to take 5 minutes for yourself. It could be one of the practices that we mentioned in Take 5 to Thrive, or just quiet, still, be with yourself and be okay with it. Like, I think the biggest hurdle is actually taking the time for yourself,
and like
whatever
you said,
that looks like.
Yeah. And Tara, I'm going to jump on that, because what you said was, and be with yourself, even if, Jen, yourself is bananas cuckoo in the list of all the things you have to do, or all the ways that you're not measuring up, all the things. I would suggest when you have that urge to scroll, before you do that, set your timer, take 5 minutes to do one of the other things, right? And
Mhm.
move your body. And then you'll eventually notice you don't even have that desire. Like there might be some things that would make sense for you business wise to look at on social
Yeah.
media, but like getting pulled in
Mhm.
to that energy is
Yeah.
really pulling you down, right? In your vibration. So
Yeah, I had to do a hard reset. Like I went cold
that's right.
turkey for it was supposed to be 30 days at the beginning of last year that ended up going a little. I'm like, well, since
Since
I've
I feel
made
so
it this
good.
far, let's see how far into February I can go.
Mm.
And like I realized I didn't miss it. And when I did, take myself off of the social media sabbatical, like I actually like did app limits on my phone. I treated myself like my child. I'm like, you only have this amount of time all day. That's it. So you spent the whole hour this morning, then see you tomorrow. Like, but like I had to really like lock in and be like, girl, we are up with my, what's it, bedtime procrastination, revenge, like everything. My day is
Oh,
so out of control. So I'm staying
oh
up all
yeah.
night long. And then
Oh
that leads to
yeah.
what you were saying earlier, Jen, about I didn't sleep well. Perry woke me up and my child is getting on my nerves. Like all of those things. But like if I only have an hour or 2 hours on social media all day, I don't have the time. And I'm doing like really analog things. Like I'm reading physical books, like open the book, turn a page. But like being very clear about what I am and what I am not willing to waste time on or spend my time on, because that's the resource I'm never going to get back. So if I only
Mm.
have this number of hours in a day, then it's going to be things that are going to move me forward more than things that are going to suck me down the comparison trap.
Discernment,
Yeah.
baby. Discernment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So along these lines, I have listeners from all over who have different backgrounds and understand things differently. So for me, what we just talked about, I get it. That's me. But I do have people who are engineers and that kind of thinking. So how do practices like the breath and the vocal release and all of that movement, how does it regulate the nervous system?
Ooh, I'm so glad you asked. Yeah, for the people that lean into the left brain or the right brain a little more than sort of that, that the happy mix, the breathing in a certain way where you're really connected and you're noticing and you're very present literally changes your chemistry for 3 minutes even. Breathing in through the nose slowly and out through as if you're blowing through a straw, the straw breath, it turns on your vagus nerve. It turns on your parasympathetic nervous system. It helps your body and your mind relax and know like, "Oh, I'm safe. I'm okay. I can take this time. I don't have to be worried about if there's a tiger running after me, if there's something behind me that's, like it happens on a very primal nervous system regulation level. And there's really not that much we need to do except for just breathe, which we're doing anyway. So dedicate, just stay in that space for like 3 to 5 minutes. Guarantee you will feel different coming out of it. Guarantee you that if you're thinking too much, you're going to connect with your breath and you're going to get present and you're just going to feel much more peaceful and grounded. It
Yeah,
is our chemistry.
that nervous system regulation in those practices is like what moves us out of urgency. Like it invites us back into the present moment and then in that, however long it is, it could only be a minute for you. Like those mindfulness minutes that you do, you're like, okay, what do I need to do now? Not what do I need to do 5 days from now? Like, what is the next best thing for me to do coming out of this? And like Karen said, you come out of it different. Like it breathing or, humming to tap into your vagus nerve. Like it sounds very woo woo, very like, there's no way. But I promise, like when you do it, you're like, oh, they were right.
Yeah.
This is physiologically what happens in your body. Like if you do a control alt delete, like reset everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said the woo woo part because confession, that was me. I talk about therapy and how I think therapy is really, really important, but it took me finding the right therapist to understand therapy. And the one day she had me do box breathing and I was like, I'm not, whatever. Okay, I'll try it. And I hate to sound so stupid, but it was like almost instantly. I was like I felt like my body felt better. The one thing that I have trouble with, and I know that at least some friends of mine have trouble with, is when you are in that moment, whether it's you're pissed off at somebody and you just can't stop thinking about it, or you're nervous or you have anxiety about something, stopping to breathe, that's the part that I have trouble with, because if I'm in there, right, and I'm in it, I'm not telling myself to stop and breathe. And if somebody else tells me, like, I love my husband dearly, but if he tells me to calm down,
wait, we're going to take it up 10 levels just because of that. Like, I know I need to calm down, but don't tell me to calm down.
Right.
I understand that practice makes perfect, right? And you have to practice doing this, but how do you both do it? Because you're doing it, you're living it, you're talking about it. So how do you do it?
Tara makes fun of me because
lovingly,
yes, totally lovingly. But we have some good jokes about this historically, because I've been practicing this, the last, for me, I mean, there was a breast cancer diagnosis, man, that woke my ass up. So like, I didn't have sort of, I almost want to say luxury, but I honestly think that it was easier doing it my way in some respects, because I was like, oh damn, I'm better like calm down and like be able to get myself like where I am taking care of myself, and there was like mortality on the line, right? Like there was like, this is a life or death situation, so you're going to do the things and commit to it. Like that's the inner dialogue I was having, and it didn't feel hard to me. And like even writing a gratitude list in the morning, we talked about in the podcast, I'd be like, write 10 things, and Tara's like, write one thing.
Right. She's in the advanced class. Don't go on her level. She's been doing this for years, like
for a long. But yeah, but I think honestly, like if we're in the emotion of frustration and anger, I can feel that all the way through. Fucking let it happen. 90 seconds, 2 minutes. Feel that. You don't want to hold on to that. Let that fly. But it's done after 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Except our brain latches onto it and then goes, oh, let's just keep replaying that. But in your body, the processing, the moving of
90 seconds
energy, which is emotion, energy and motion, if we experience and process the emotion, in whatever way, hopefully what feels like a safe environment, if we can experience and process it 90 seconds, stay with it, feel it, even if it's uncomfortable, and then move into the breathing. Like we don't want to hold on to it, but we absolutely have a choice about what we focus on then, right? Returning to love, returning to peace, returning to a place of gratitude, returning to the breath. We can absolutely make that choice.
Yeah. And
otherwise the ego's going to perseverate, man. The ego.
And it does feel foreign at first. Like it doesn't have to be like Karen said, like for her, like it was life or death a moment for her. But in those moments when you realize like, this isn't actually who I am, like this is not who I am really. Like, I know this isn't me. And when you have that awareness, like you move differently from that point forward. Like, I feel like I used to be like, ready to rumble like all the time, like on edge, like ready to let's get ready. Like seriously, the announcer is doing the thing.
Are you ready?
Like I used to, and then like in a moment I realized like I have to remember like who was looking at me, not saying like externally like they've asked me to become someone different, but for my children, do I want them to grow up to be this type of person in the world? Is this how I want people to perceive them? Like hairline trigger, whatever, like ready to rumble all the time? No, that's not, one, who I am, and two, not how I want to show up in the world. Like there are already all of these expectations and stereotypes associated with like who we are as women. I don't want to add another layer of complexity onto that by being someone that I'm not actually, like by being this survival mode version of myself. Like I am not trying to erase any of those lessons and things that I've learned when I was her, but I don't have to be her moving forward. And I know like moving forward, she's not going to take me to like the next level of, visibility or influence that I would want by being her. Like nobody want to listen to somebody angry. Well, you know what? And I personally do not. Like collectively, maybe some folks do want the anger, the fear side of that. But me personally, that's not how I want to show up. That's not how I want to be.
And that's the other thing too, is that when something shows up so quickly and so inflammatory, like that anger, that frustration, that's the protector, right? So you have to sort of ask yourself, like 2 weeks ago, I had an incident of this. I am absolutely 1000% human and living in this human world. And somebody did something that triggered me and it triggered my son. It hurt my son. And I was like, you know what? Mama bear. I was next level pissed off. And then like a week later, I was like, why was I so angry at this? Oh my God. I wasn't angry so much as I was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I made that connection to that little squishy inside of me that was hurt by this behavior with someone I trusted, I was like, oh, and then I could sort of go in and talk to her and be like, it's okay. People aren't their behaviors. And you had every right to feel angry. And I'm glad you did. And also, oh, look what we're noticing now, that you were actually hurt. And then I can come at it from a different perspective and I can process it and learn a little bit more about myself.
That is more than like the true sign of maturity. Like that, honestly, that just gave me chills. Because like, think about it. First off, 90 seconds. There are TikToks that I sit and watch longer than 90 seconds, right? So if that goes away in 90 seconds, why can't I just stop and breathe? So that's something I'm absolutely taking away right now, 90 seconds.
Awesome.
But also like learning about yourself and like, I'm not pissed, I'm sad. And I would always say, oh, when I get angry, I cry. Well, I cry because I'm hurt. Sure, I'm angry, but I'm hurt.
I just got full body chills. Ooh, what do you need?
Yeah.
Have compassion and empathy for yourself. The reason you're reacting that way is because some wound, old wound, new one, has been triggered. And now it is your responsibility as somebody who's over the age of 25 to get curious about that was really like, that was kind of an intense reaction, or that wasn't an intense reaction, but what's underneath that reaction, and getting curious and asking yourself those questions in reflection, a little later. It's just so valuable.
It's getting curious, having compassion, and also giving yourself grace for reacting from that place. Like we do not get it right 100% of the time. Seriously.
Oh,
but
Lord,
it's like,
have mercy.
okay, I did not handle that well, and I can handle it differently the next time it comes up, because the universe, God, is very, very, he has a great sense of humor in bringing the lesson back to you again and again to see how you will handle. Not saying like that you're going to pass the test, but to see if when you're presented this way with this situation that's triggering you, that's bumping up against all of those old wounds, how do you handle it moving forward? And no, you didn't get it right the last time, but there's next time.
Yeah.
There's always a next time. As long as you're here on this side of the dirt, there's always a next time.
Right. Yeah. And that forgiveness and compassion and kindness and grace that we give to ourselves, that is vitally important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to say this just for my listeners, giving yourself grace it's not an excuse for being a bitch.
No.
Because
say it, Jen. Just say that B word.
You're mean and rude and nobody likes that.
I'm just mean and hateful. Oh.
It's not to be, giving yourself grace is for you on the inside. It's not saying it's okay to be a bitch to everybody else on the outside. I just want to put that out there a little bit.
Love the disclaimer. Yes.
Yeah, like when we're offering that kindness to ourselves and that compassion and grace, yeah, it's to discover something new. It's to discover what that behavior is coming from, and just to kind of do a little bit of an archaeological, dig about it.
Yep, sit in our own shit and figure it out.
Yeah.
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 And figure out ourselves. And maybe we don't know what the trigger is sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why did that just happen? I thought I was having a great day, and all of a sudden, and I've done that. Like weeks later, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'll say it to my husband. I'm so sorry I said this to you. I didn't realize what was going on. I'm very lucky to have a partner in my life who is a very patient man, especially through this season of my life where I have ups and downs. But he's also letting me find my own voice again, or reclaiming my own voice, I guess I should say. And I love that.
Beautiful.
So let's talk about voice. How does losing your voice, and not, when I say that, friends, I'm not saying like you get sick, but how does losing your voice show up in everyday life? So maybe it wasn't anything catastrophic that happened, but all of a sudden you feel like you can't speak up. What does losing it look like in everyday life? And then tell me about how we work to reclaim it and what that looks like. And so like if I called you up and I said, Tara, I'm having a really awful time, like I can't figure this out, what do I do next? What would, if you're coaching me, or Karen, you're coaching me, what are you going to tell me to do?
I would kind of do a forensic analysis of it, because it didn't just happen. Like, you didn't just lose it. Like, I feel like for me personally, like, it was slowly trained out of me. Like, those times when I was younger that I did speak up and no one listened, no one helped, no one came through, it just became much safer for me not to say anything. So if we do this little quick forensic analysis, like, okay, you did not speak up in this meeting or say what you really wanted, like, what is really underneath that? Because there is something underneath there that, yay, childhood, bringing all the best into adulthood. Like, there is something underneath that where you realize, like, I didn't just lose it. Like, this is a pattern of behavior that was trained into me, either, explicitly or implicitly. Like, this happened over time. And it's like, okay, I didn't do it in this moment, or you don't know how to move forward in this moment. That's okay. But let's just sit with that for a second. Like, and the answer will usually come back to you, and it'll be a quick reminder of like, oh yeah, when I was 7, I spoke up and my dad didn't listen to me, or they told me to be quiet, and children ought to be seen and not heard. And it's like, oh, that's how it's showing up to me as a full grown midlife woman. Yep. All right, I know what to do with that. And like Karen said earlier, that's when you take that younger version of yourself and it's like, it's okay. You did the best you could with everything that was being thrown at you. I got it now.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't tell you how many, I've worked with a lot of vocal clients in all the aspects of using your voice. And it's never, I feel like I lost my power 2 years ago. It's always, subconscious even, right? The limiting beliefs and the programming, the contract that we signed onto probably between 0 and 7, that probably our parents didn't even know they were, like, I'm not placing blame, but it just sort of happens where you notice as a baby, oh, when I do this behavior, it's pleasing to people. When I do this behavior, it's not. Like, we start tallying. We start really memorizing and knowing what pleases the people around us for survival's sake. And that wiring and those beliefs and that operating system is installed, baby. That thing is installed deeply. So I think the voice is vulnerable for a lot of people. I hear people say all the time, oh, I can't sing. Generally, first of all, everyone can sing.
You too,
everyone
Jen.
can sing, including you, Jen. I did hear you say that. Everyone can sing. It may not be, Beyonce, Celine Dion, Adele, whoever your favorite people are. But everyone
Unless you're in the shower. I'm sorry, but like in the shower.
The acoustics are real good in the shower. But like, the voice is the bridge between our inner world and our outer world. And if we feel vulnerable and we feel sort of, we have heard or taken on that your voice doesn't matter, you should be seen and not heard, all of whatever the thing is, and it doesn't have to be explicit, as Tara said. When we start taking that on, we start dumbing ourselves, internally. We stop speaking up. We stop saying what's true for us. We stop talking about dreams and visions and experiences, which are highly magical in that time period as a kid. But if you have parents or grandparents that didn't get that luxury of being able to live with their dreams, or, experience or imagine or be creative in any kind of, visceral way, then they're not going to really understand or allow that subconsciously, right? So there's all these ways that we use our voice, but definitely, setting boundaries, speaking up for what we want, saying no, saying yes to the things we do want, all of the ways that we use our voice, including singing or making big sound, just standing in the middle of your living room and just, you know, making a siren sound because you can, like, you can make that big sound and you're allowed to make that big sound,
Yeah.
just
You're
giving yourself.
allowed that permission. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
As you were talking, Karen, like I'm inspired all over again because it's like this beautiful invitation in midlife of like, it's returning to the truth of who we are, being able to use our voice. And I find like if you can't do it for yourself, practice doing it for someone else.
Mm.
Maybe that's your kids. Maybe that's a friend who lets people walk over them. Like practice doing it for someone else. And once you build that muscle, get in the habit for doing it for them. Like it almost becomes second nature to start doing it for yourself as well.
Mm.
Permission. I feel empowered right now.
Permission, sister. Permission. Yep. Only you can give it.
Yeah. Yeah. You said something, Karen, about, maybe it was the way we were brought up. And I talk about this a lot, being an 80s or 90s kid, or, born in the 70s and the 80s, the generation before ours. You didn't speak up. You went to work for 40 years and did your thing, and then that was it. And honestly, like women weren't given the voice. I mean, it was 50 years ago that we could just buy a house by ourselves. So like I can't even imagine that. But now I think about, it's almost like we are programmed to go, 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 whether it is work or with children or whatever, it's this hustle culture. And when I say that, it's not just about the men who do 75 hard. I've done 75 hard. That's part of that hustle, right? But it's also, there's a hustle culture for women where we don't allow ourselves to rest. And I am, it's uncomfortable to allow yourself to rest. So let's talk about the guilt that comes with us, with resting with us, and how to get over that guilt of, it's okay to sit down for 2 hours and watch that documentary by yourself that you've been wanting to watch for the past 3 years without feeling like, I didn't do the laundry, I didn't go grocery shopping, I forgot to email this person back, so and so called it. How do we get through that guilt and allow ourselves that time?
I feel like Tara is in such this beautiful season of rest that I'm like, I'm just going to let her preach about this for a second because, Lord, I have seen it happen.
Because I definitely believe the lie that if I rest, everything will fall apart. Like if I don't do all of the things, then baby, the world is going to stop turning and then everyone's gone. You know what I mean? But I slowly came to realize that resting and being in spaciousness and margin is not laziness. It's teaching my body and my mind how to be like safe, not doing all of the things. It's tapping out of that survivor mode where I had to like do, go, be, because if you're still for too long, that's when the tiger's going to get you. But this idea that rest threatens like our identities of being useful, like rest will rest in that manner, like we've tied our worth to how productive we are, how much we made, how much we did, when, and like I said earlier, like we are human beings, not human doing. So this rest becomes a sort of rebellion, and I love being a rebel. Like at the end of I love being a rebel because it releases that guilt of like having to constantly be on. It retires my superwoman cape, but that thing was heavy. It did not serve me like well, and it won't serve me well moving forward because like I've poured everything out, and I refuse to pour from an empty cup any longer. So I've learned that the association of guilt to rest, it will dissipate when you actually do it, because that guilt is another emotion and indicator. And then that's when like the regulation will come in. That's when you are okay, when you realize I am actually stuff. You've given yourself that 90 seconds to feel guilty. Okay, but I'm still going to bed rot. Like, okay, I'm still going to binge watch these 3 shows on Netflix because I need to reset. I need to be still to not think about what's coming next.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can be so hard on ourselves. I mean, especially as women. Like, it's brutal. It's brutal,
I found that allowing myself to rest has given me you know, we talk about being busy, but when we're busy, are we productive? And allowing myself to rest has given me that productivity back, where I'm not busy all day long. It's just that block that I need to be productive. I am hella productive in that block
Knocked it
because
all out.
you know,
Yeah.
the resting, the breathing, all of the things
Yeah.
it works.
It works.
The woo-woo side of it, you can judge it all you want, but
It works.
it doesn't lie, you know, like I'm a product of it and I know that it works because I practice, you know, not perfect and I don't practice it all the time, but when I do, I'm like, yeah, I get it now. I get it now.
Yeah. And it's so interesting when people term, you know, just basic self-care needs as woo-woo. I'm always like, that's like a whole systemic, like, and I'll say it, patriarchal thing that says to us, like, oh, you're putting yourself first. You know, it like, it, you know, makes us feel guilty, it makes us feel less than or whatever. And therefore, let's call it, you know, it's this sort of woo-woo contingent factor of people who don't really care about like what's going on in the world. Bullshit. Because when I rest and when I'm taking care of myself in that way, I am 10,000 times more powerful in my energetic, not just what like I'm physically doing, but in the power that I hold to shift whatever I'm looking to shift, consciousness, for crying out loud, on a large scale. So
love it. I could talk to you ladies forever.
I know, this is so easy. This is so good.
So
I'm having a great time.
Before we get into your Odyssey, at the end here, I want to talk about the music, because both of our podcasts use music as part of storytelling, right? And music helps, for me, it's helped me my entire life, but it's my social outlet, but it's also my time to be quiet with myself. It is the thing that gets me out of bed sometimes when I don't want to get out of bed. I listen to all kinds of music, all genres, so like it really speaks to me. But music also, it helps us feel in ways that we can't articulate, right? So why do you think that music is such a powerful thing, especially during these transitions of change?
It just connect, you know, music is that universal, right? There's no doubt, beyond words, beyond language, music is the thing that we all feel viscerally in our bodies and energetically, and it can absolutely shift your mood. It can shift, it can help you process, go into tears if that's what you need to process. It helps us process emotion in some ways. And so I'm always, I'm a lifelong musician and songwriter. And to me, it's just the most cathartic, natural way for humans to release, process, and to just get into their bodies and get present, and even in community, right? Like it's just, there's nothing like it in my opinion. And I am a big supporter of all of the arts, but there's something about music. It's similar to smelling, right? A certain smell, like of my grandmother's, the little nut horns she used to make. Like certain smells bring you right back, but music can transmute, like on things on an energetic level that it's so powerful, so powerful.
Yeah,
Tara, you got like Tara's like the queen. Tara's like the queen of, we do an episode and she's like, I have found the perfect song. Like it, like she calls down like, oh my God.
Let's talk about them. So
she is like the queen of calling down, like, and usually she'll surprise, like, I don't even know it because she's just so good at it. Like, I'm just like, and she says, I'm like, holy, like, I didn't even know I needed that right now, but she's so good at it.
Oh, and when you hear a song, it's harder now. I will say the one thing that I don't like about the Spotifys and everything is it's so readily available. But I remember back in the day of CDs and even cassette tapes where I would sit and wait for it to come on the radio so I could record it, and you would listen and that song would be so exciting. But now if I go to a concert, that's that feeling, right? I'm a huge Dave Matthews Band fan. I've seen him 70 times. And
stop it.
Oh yeah.
7-0.
7-0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For 25
for a long time.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
But the one thing I love about that band is you don't know what the set list is. So like every show, there's a different set list and you won't know it until the day you're there or the moment you're there. And that's where it's like, oh my gosh, I got my song, you know? And it's that feeling with the people around you, whether it's sad or happy or whatever. It's this experience in your own body, but also externally. It's super, super cool.
Yeah.
So this season of the Midlife, this is season 2 of the Midlife Edit, I have been pairing episodes with songs. And I saw that you do that as well. So again, I pulled up the Spotify playlist and I creeped on it a little bit. So I picked 3 for this one, and I want to hear your thoughts on them. First one is, this song is just something that, like, I remember it coming out in the 90s and listening to it in the car with my mom. It was You Gotta Be by Desiree. Such a great song.
Yeah.
So that one.
Okay.
Vienna by Billy Joel, because that's just classic learning about you.
Yeah.
And then fucking Perfect by Pink, because she's just one of those artists that just gets me. So if this episode had a soundtrack, one that kind of represents reclaiming yourself, but also being gentle with yourself and not forceful, out of those 3, which one feels right, do you think?
For me, Perfect.
I was gonna say it's Pink all the way. Alicia Moore, come through, like yes,
yeah, because
Yes.
it's kind of a little bit like kicking your ass about, like, you know, and sort of helping you realize, like, you don't
you are
see
perfect
what
to
I
me.
see, like
you
you don't even know how amazing you are.
as you in
Yeah.
whatever stage of life that you are in, like, you are perfect. You are a beautiful masterpiece that was placed here in this moment, in this space and time, for a reason. And that's it. Like,
Yeah.
it's perfect. Perfect is perfect for this.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
before we wrap up, I want to let you give a little bit of where to find you. What is your Odyssey about? What can my listeners come to you for? Like, how do we touch base with you?
The quickest way to touch base with us and see everything that we're up to is definitely finding us on IG at yourodyssey.life. We are, like, this business, this journey, this podcast journey that Karen and I have been on is about 3 years in the making this year. But as, like, a business, we are in this beautiful stage of, like, reinvention, like reintroducing ourselves to the world. Like, this is who we are. This is what we offer. This is where you will come home to who you've always been. But yeah, the quickest and easiest, most direct way is on IG, because there you can send us a DM, see all of the things that we have coming up. 2026 is a really big year for us. We have seen that already. It's only February. But
the momentum is it's incredible.
Already happening. So definitely check us out at yourodyssey.life on IG. That is the quickest and easiest way to see what we're up to.
Yeah, in our bio, there's just links to some of the programs and coaching that we offer, and there'll be a link to sign up on our email list and sort of mosey around our website and see what we're about.
Yeah.
You said 2026 is already shaping up to be a great year, which makes me feel so good, because that means that women are looking out for them. I mean, I know you work with women and men, but we're looking out for ourselves. We're speaking up for ourselves. And if something doesn't feel right, we're seeking the help that we need. And I'm just, kudos to the both of you. Such a fun time chatting with you.
We loved it.
I love that you're bringing all of this fun stuff to the world, because the world needs more people like you. And I really, I appreciate you taking the time and chatting with us. So one quick question, because I have to know. On a desert island, just you, only one, I'm going to go old school, only one CD that you can listen to for the rest of your life.
Ooh. Oh, Wang Dang Doodle. Oh my God.
Oh, who's that by?
Well, that is some Coco Taylor, I will say. I love me some Coco Taylor.
Karen's next record.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Tara, do you have one that pops in real quick?
Because it's going to be like a recent history one. Because once I start going through flipping through the daggone CD binder, that's when it gets real messy. So the first one that popped in my head was Beyonce's Lemonade. Because it's such a transition from, like, old Destiny's Child Beyonce to, like, a little pop to I got a little edge to me, and I like that transition. It's like, I am not just this one thing. Like, I'm going through something right now with this guy.
Yeah.
But it's really like grown woman introducing herself and the breadth that is who she is, because there is pain, there is heartbreak, there is redemption on that album. Like, it's everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little old school. Really, anything by Etta James
Oh,
would
Last.
just be.
Yeah,
I'd just be like,
yeah.
come on, me, you can dance, Etta.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Ladies, thank you so much for being part of the Midlife Edit. I'm going to link everything in the show notes. So if you are looking to find them, check it out in the show notes. And I can't wait to see what 2026 holds for you.
Oh, we've
It's gonna be
enjoyed.
great.
Yeah,
This
we've
has been a
enjoyed.
blast.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
inviting us and meeting with us, and we'll have you on ours too.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
All
we'll
right.
talk soon.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
One of my favorite things about having this platform is being able to connect with so many amazing people. And this conversation did not disappoint. Karen and Tara are amazing women, and the world needs more people like them. So please go check them out. I linked everything in the show notes for you to check out. But one of the things I love most about this conversation is that the reminder of reclaiming yourself or finding your voice, it doesn't require some dramatic reinvention. It small steps. You can do anything in 5 minutes, right? We talked about that. Sometimes it's just a breath or a sound or dancing a little to your favorite song. So, check out the ladies. I hope to have them back on the podcast again because they're amazing. And next week we're gonna keep talking about how midlife is in a crisis. It's an invitation to slow down, to listen, and to give yourself permission to want again. So until next week, this is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter. You've been listening to the Midlife Edit. If something in this episode stayed with you, I hope you sit with it, not rush past it. Because this season is about listening to yourself and to what's quietly asking for more. If you want to stay connected between episodes, you can join the Backstage Pass. That's where I share behind-the-scenes notes, playlists, and things that don't always make it onto the podcast. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if this episode resonated with you, it would mean so much if you'd subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's the easiest way to support the show and help more women find it. So until next time, turn the volume up, and let's make it a damn good chapter.